Es ist ein Kernelement des Christentums. Das Leiden und die Kreuzigung Jesu, wie er ans Kreuz geschlagen wurde und sein Leben gab, um für die Sünden der Menschen zu sterben.
Die wichtigsten und verlässlichsten historischen Informationen, die wir haben, kommen von Matthäus, Markus, Lukas und Johannes.
Der vielleicht provokanteste Bericht stammt von Basilides, einem ägyptischen Gnostiker aus dem 2. Jahrhundert. Seine Schriften waren so aufrührerisch, dass die meisten von ihnen vernichtet wurden. Die brisanteste Aussage seiner Lehre lautet: Jesus ist nie am Kreuz gestorben. An seiner Stelle starb ein Ersatzmann.
A Muslim is told in no uncertain terms in the Holy Quran, the last and final revelation of God. He is told in chapter 4, verse 157, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, that they didn't kill him and they did not crucify him. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ, but it was made to appear to them so. That is what they thought they had done, the Jews. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ لَفِي شَقٍّ مِّنْهُمْ, and those who dispute therein are full of doubts. مَا لَهُمْ بِهِ مِنْ عِلْمٍ, they have no certain knowledge. إِلَّا اتِّبَاعَ الظَّنِّ, they only following conjecture, guesswork, fiction. وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ يَقِينًا, for of a surety they killed him not. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, could anyone have been more explicit, more dogmatic, more uncompromising in rejecting the dogma of a faith than this? The answer is impossible. The only one who could afford to do such thing would be the Almighty, omnipotent, omniscient Lord of the universe. He is the only one who is entitled to speak in such terms. Illa tibazan, they only follow conjecture, guesswork, fiction. As Saint Paul, the self-appointed 13th apostle, the self-appointed 13th apostle of Jesus Christ, as he claims in the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 14, he says, if Christ is not risen from the dead, our preaching is vain, your faith is vain. In other words, you got nothing. He's telling his fellow Christians, he said, look, if this had not happened, Christ coming back from the dead, then all of Christianity is worthless. The Americans would say garbage, it's all garbage, nothing, you haven't got a thing. The only thing you have is, Paul is telling the Christians, is the death and resurrection of Jesus. If that is not there, you haven't got a thing to tell anybody. After his alleged crucifixion, it was Sunday morning, the first day of the week. Mary Magdalene, she goes to the tomb alone. That's what the Bible says. And when she goes to the tomb, we are asking, why did she go there? So the gospel says she went to anoint him. So we are asking, you see this Hebrew word, anoint means is masah. Masah means to rub, to massage, to anoint. So we are asking the Christian, he says, do Jews massage dead bodies after 3 days? Do they? Because within 3 hours rigor mortis sets in. You know, the hardening of the cells. The body starts fermenting from inside. Such a rotting body, when you massage it, falls to pieces. Does it make sense? After 3 days she wants to go and massage the dead rotting body. Do Jews do that? Ask the Jews. They say no. I say, you Christians, do you massage dead bodies after 3 days? The answer is no. We Muslims, we are the closest to the Jew. Do we massage dead bodies after 3 days? Do you? You Muslims, do you? No. We are closest to the Jew in our ceremonial law. Then why should a Jewess want to go along and wanting to massage a dead rotting body? So she goes there and she's worried about the tomb, not a grave, tomb. And when she goes there, she finds that the stone is removed. She was worried about the stone. Who's going to remove the stone? She's alone. The stone is removed and she looks inside. The winding sheet's inside. So she starts to cry. So the lady starts to cry. It's an anti-climax to what she had expected. Jesus was watching her from wherever he was. Not from heaven, but from this earth. And he says, Fro warong vienye visukye. He says, woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? I'm asking, doesn't he know? Why does he ask such a silly question? He knows that she's looking for him. And he knows she's disappointed, she's crying. Why does he ask such a silly question? I said, no, it's not a silly question. Actually, he's pulling her leg, metaphorically. He's still got the sense of humor. He says, Fro warong vienye visukye. Say het khading, the detainer was. She supposing him to be the gardener. I say, why does she suppose he's a gardener? Do resurrected bodies look like gardeners? Do they? That everybody, all of us, when we are resurrected, everybody will look like a gardener. So the wife can't make out her husband. She doesn't know the difference between the husband and the son-in-law. She's confused. And her grandfather and her father, everybody is the same. All gardeners. No. The resurrected body will be you yourself. Everybody will recognize you. It will be the real you, not this camouflage. This is camouflage. We are changing all the time. The real you, the real me, you'll find. You'll recognize one another, inshallah. So she's supposing him to be the gardener. Says, Sir, Munir, as ye home, wechat rahet. If you have taken him hence, say for me, waar ye home, near khalehet. Tell me, where have you laid him? To rest, to relax, to recuperate, and exhale home, wechanium. And ek, alone. Sal home, him, not it, a dead rotting body. Wechanium. That I may take him away. I said, where? What does she want to do with a dead rotting body? After 3 days. Take him home, put him under a bed, pickle him. What does she want to do with a rotting body, I ask you? No, she's not looking for a dead rotten body. She's looking for a live person. And exhale home. The joke is gone too far. So Jesus says, Mary. The way he said Mary, she recognized that this is Jesus. You know, all of us, we have our unique ways of calling our near ones, our dear ones. We have. I might know your wife's name, but the way you call her and the way I'm going to call that name is not the same. You agree? We have our unique ways, everybody. So he says, Mary. The way he said Mary, she recognized Jesus, so she wants to grab him. To do what? To bite him? No, to pay respects. We Eastern people. His master, her master. So he says, Rak meni anni, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended unto my Father. As is she blind? Can't she see the man is standing there beside her? What does it mean I'm not gone up when he's here? I say, in the language of the Jew, in the idiom of the Jew, he's saying, I am not dead yet. He tells her, gives her advice to go and tell his brethren that he is risen. So she goes and tells them. An amazing thing, these disciples of Jesus. Amazing reaction. Mark chapter 16 verse 11. And they, the disciples, when they heard that he was alive, A-L-I-V-E, alive, not resurrected. This is the scripture, Mark 16:11, that he was alive and had been seen by her, by Mary Magdalene. She says, she saw him alive. They believed not. The Bible says they didn't believe. The woman says, look, I saw him, he's alive. They didn't believe. Why didn't they believe? She's testifying that, look, I met him, I spoke to him. And they didn't believe. Why would they not believe? Because at the back of their minds, this man Jesus was dead. And she's talking about a live person. If she had said she has seen the ghost of Jesus, the spook of Jesus, the spirit of Jesus, they would have believed. But she's not talking about spook and ghost and chies. She's talking about the man, he's alive. Because they know, they believe spirits going into pigs. It's in the Bible. The spirits went into pigs, and 2,000 have heard of them. They ran down the hill and they all got drowned. Spirits going into pigs, they saw. They saw with their own eyes, spirits going into pigs. They believe anything. But to believe that the living Jesus is alive, that they couldn't believe. She said, I saw his spook. They would have believed. She said, he's alive. And they didn't believe. He's going to Emmaus. On the way to Emmaus, he's got two disciples of his walking side by side. And he's preaching to them about what had happened the previous 3 days. 5 miles they walk, and they still can't recognize the man. I ask you why. He's disguised. When he acts a part of Pharaoh in the 10 Commandments, you think that he is Pharaoh, he's an Egyptian. No, they're so realistic. So Jesus Christ has got such a fantastic disguise. He's talking with his disciples 5 miles and they don't recognize the man. Why? Because he's disguised, not because he's resurrected. He's disguised. So when they reach Emmaus, he makes it that he's going to carry on. So they say, come, it's time to eat. Come and join us. So he's persuaded. When he's persuaded, and it came to pass, Luke tells us, chapter 24, verse 30. And it came to pass, as he sat eating with them, he took bread and blessed it. They said the manner in which he break bread, the eyes were open. It means, what does it mean, the eyes were open? It means they recognized the man. It didn't mean they were walking 5 miles with eyes closed. Look, this is a figure of speech. It means now they recognized the man, the eyes were open, not that they were walking 5 miles with closed eyes. So when they recognized the man, Jesus vanished. What did he do? The Indian rope trick? Going up the rope and vanishing? No. He vanished means he went away out of sight. So these disciples, they run to that upper room where they had the Last Supper and they find the others there. There were other 8 there. 8 were there. And they won't tell them, say, Jesus, he was with us and he sat down to eat. And the way he was breaking bread and the way he was blessing it. Like we say, Bismillah. This is the Hebrew way of saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Get started. Let me say, Jesus, he's there. He was with us. And they say, I can't believe. And they said, we can't believe. And in came Jesus. Some said he stood in the midst. Like that vanishing trick, that these guys in Star Trek, you see in your TV sets. In came Jesus. The doors being shut. That doesn't mean he came in through the keyhole. Like this, you see sometime in films they show you, the smoke coming out and materializing into a genie. No. I don't know how these brothers got there. I don't know how they got there. Look at them. Look. How did they get there? I don't know. But there must be a way. So in that upper room he goes in, the doors were shut, and they're terrified. The disciples were terrified. I'm asking, why were they terrified? When you meet your long lost master, your uncle, your grandfather, we Eastern people, we embrace one another, we kiss one another. Why should the disciples of Jesus be terrified? So Luke tells us that they were affrighted because they thought he was a spirit. They thought he was a spirit. I'm asking, did he look like a spirit? They said no. Then I said, why should they think the man is a spirit when he didn't look like one? Puzzled. I tell you why. You see, the disciples of Jesus, they had heard from hearsay that the master was hanged on the cross. They had heard from hearsay, suni hui baat, what they had heard, that he was hanged on the cross, that he had given up the ghost, he had died. They were not eyewitnesses, your witness to the happenings. Because Mark chapter 14 verse 50, he says, for all his disciples forsook him and fled. Tu had almal hum farlat and khaflah. Almal. I'm asking the Afrikaner, does almal mean almal in your language? Does it mean all? You Englishmen, does all mean all in your language? You Zulu, does bonke mean bonke in your language? Serious. So they were not there. All the knowledge was from hearsay, what they had heard. So now they are terrified. They think he's a ghost. So Jesus wants to assure them that is not what they're thinking. They're thinking he's a ghost. He's come back from the dead. So he says, cake. Have a look at my hands and my feet. One, that it is excel, that it is I myself. I am the same fellow man. Damn fools, what are you afraid of me for?